I remember this night like it happened yesterday. 7 years ago, I was sitting on my sofa, just staring into space. I was stuck. I had a 9 to 5 job making $11 an hour, but I couldn't shake the thought, is this it? Is this my life? I knew that someday I would have a wife, kids, and responsibilities, and I had no idea how I was going to survive at this level. I had to do something. I had to change my life. That's when the idea hit me. I'll go back to school, I'll change careers, I'll study for 18 months and completely level up my life. For the first time in a long time, I felt hope. But then something happened. The next morning, my thought turned against me. Are you crazy? You'll have to quit your job. You'll have to rely on outside help. You don't want that. You'll have to study for 18 months. That's too hard. Just wait for the right time. My brain was feeding me excuses after excuses. It was trying to convince me to stay in my comfort zone. And for a moment, I almost listened. But then I made a decision that changed my life forever. I stopped overthinking. I stopped waiting for a right time. I took the leap, and man, let me tell you, those 18 months were hard, really hard. There were days when my inner thought screamed at me to quit. Days when I felt like I was in a battle against my own brain. But you know what? I pushed through. And on the other side of the discomfort was an entire new life. Today I earn a great wage, I build a career I'm proud of, and none of it would have happened if I had listened to my own brain trying to hold me back. And that's exactly what today's video is about. Because your brain is a powerful tool, but it is also a powerful fool. It tricks you into staying small, procrastinating, and delaying your dreams. But if you understand how it works, you can outsmart it. So, in today's video, I'm going to show you the hidden mental traps that keeps you stuck. How your brain manipulates you into failure. And last but not the least, I'll give you 3 simple brain hacks to override these thoughts and take control of your life. So let's dive in. Your brain is supposed to be your biggest asset, right? So why does it feel like it's always working against you? The truth is, your brain is wired for survival, not success. A long time ago, when we were just trying to stay alive in the wild, success meant playing safe. Don't take risk. Don't leave the tribe. Don't do anything uncertain because uncertainty means danger. Fast forward to today, and guess what? Your brain still works the same way. It convinces you to stay in your comfort zone. It tells you that starting something new is scary, makes you believe your own excuses. And worst of all, most people never realize their brain is working against them. So today I'm going to expose the 3 biggest mental traps your brain uses to keep you stuck. Mental trap number 1, the instant gratification lie. Imagine this. You sit down to work on something important. Maybe it's a business idea, your fitness, or even just studying. And then you check your phone. You decided to grab a snack first. You watch just one more episode on Netflix. An hour passes and you have done nothing. Your brain just tricked you into procrastinating. Why? Because your brain is addicted to easy dopamine. Dopamine is the brain's reward chemical. It makes you feel good. And in today's world, there are too many easy ways to get that dopamine without doing anything productive, like scrolling social media, binge watching Netflix, Hulu, or Amazon Prime, eating junk food. Your brain would rather take an easy reward now than work for a bigger reward later. And this is why people scroll instead of creating. People watch instead of work. People wait for the motivation instead of taking actions. Mental trap number 2, the "I'll start tomorrow" fallacy. How many times have you said this? "I'll start working out next week. I'll apply for that job next month. I'll take action when I feel ready." Guess what? Tomorrow is never gonna come. Why? Because your brain is designed to protect you from discomfort. Starting something new is uncomfortable. Learning something difficult is uncomfortable. Breaking bad habit is uncomfortable. So what does your brain do? It tells you you'll be more ready later. Right now isn't the perfect time. You need to plan more before you start. And here's the scary part. Your brain is so good at lying to you that it makes you believe that delaying is a logical choice. You start thinking, "Oh, you'll have more time next month." You'll start thinking it's better to wait until things settle down. You'll start thinking that you need to research more before starting. But in reality, this is just an illusion. Your brain isn't waiting for the right time. It's just avoiding the change. Mental trap number 3, the perfectionism paradox. Here's the hard truth. Perfectionism is not about having high standard. It's about fear. Fear of failing, fear of looking stupid, fear of not being good enough. And your brain feeds you the same excuses over and over again. I need to be fully prepared before I start. It has to be perfect or I won't do it. I'll wait until I have more time, more money, and more experience. But here's the reality. Perfectionism is just procrastination in disguise. And it's the reason why people never start their dream business. They keep planning and planning and planning instead of executing. They overthink their first step instead of taking it. And the worst part, perfectionism convinces you that you are making progress, when in reality you are just delaying action. Your brain wants certainty, not progress. So it will tell you you need to know everything before you start, or if you can't do it perfectly, don't do it at all. So now you know your brain is not always on your side. It tricks you into procrastination, fear, self-doubt, and most people, they never break free. But what if you could override these mental traps? What if instead of your brain holding you back, you could reprogram it to push you forward? That's exactly what we are going to cover next. Alright, now that we know how your brain tricks us into staying stuck, the next question is, how do we take control? Because here's the truth. Your brain can be trained. Just like a muscle, it adapts to whatever you repeatedly do. And over time, it will stop fighting you and start working for you. Here's how I trained my brain to stop hesitating and start taking actions. Hack number 1, a quick action rule. Years ago, I realized that every time I had a creative idea, my brain would immediately try to talk me out of it. Is this really a good idea? Do you have time for this? Maybe later would be better. And I've noticed something. The longer I waited to act, the more reason my brain gave me not to do it. That's when I created this rule. If I have a thought, I act on it immediately. Instead of asking, should I do this? I ask, how am I going to do this? This small shift in thinking changes everything for me. Because the moment you turn an idea into an action, your brain stops questioning it. And here's the science behind it. Your brain is built for pattern recognition. If you hesitate, your brain starts associating new ideas with doubts. But if you act immediately, your brain starts linking ideas with movement. And once your brain makes that connection, taking action becomes your new default. Now, how to apply this? When you get a new idea, take one small step towards it immediately. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Your brain will try to delay you. Don't listen. Trust movement over thinking. Your best ideas will come while you are taking actions. Hack number 2, the 2-hour nightly system. Taking action immediately is great, but what about long-term success? For me, the answer was creating a system. Every night, after my kid sleeps at 10 p.m., my 2-hour window begins. That's my non-negotiable action time. Some nights I put in the full 2 hours. Other nights I might only work for 15 minutes. But here's the rule: something has to happen in those 2 hours. And over time, my brain starts seeing this as a dopamine fuel. Instead of my brain rewarding me for watching Netflix or scrolling, it now rewards me for taking actions. Here's the science behind it. Dopamine is what drives motivation and habit formation. Most people train their brains to crave social media, junk food, or gaming. But if you train your brain to associate dopamine with progress, taking actions stop feeling like a chore and start feeling necessary. Now, how to apply this? Create a dedicated time slot for action. Even if it's just for 30 minutes a day, don't focus on how much you accomplish, focus on showing up every day. Let consistency do the rewiring for you. Over time, your brain will adapt. Hack number 3, reprogramming your identity through consistency. Now, this is the part most people don't realize. Your brain doesn't resist action, it resists change. At first, when you start a new habit, your brain fights it because it doesn't recognize it as a part of your identity. But if you stay consistent, something amazing happens. Your brain stops resisting and starts aligning with your new self. And once that happens, the habit becomes automatic. For me, this shift happens when I realize something powerful. If I just stick to the system, my brain will eventually stop fighting me. That's what separates people who stay stuck from people who break free. Most people think motivation is the problem. It's not. The real problem is quitting before your brain adapts. If you can stay consistent long enough, your brain will eventually rewire itself to support your goal instead of resisting them. Now, how do you apply this? Well, stick to your system even on days you don't feel like it. Understand that the discomfort is temporary. Your brain will adjust. Track progress, not perfection. Small wins rewire the brain for success. So, your brain is powerful, but it is also a fool. It wants comfort more than success. It wants easy dopamine more than real progress. It will fight you at every step of your growth. But if you learn how to outsmart it, your entire life will change. Alright, let's bring this all together. If there's one thing I want you to take away from this video, it's this. Your brain is not an excuse. Yes, it will trick you. Yes, it will resist change. But at the end of the day, you are in control. If you take action immediately, your brain will stop questioning you. If you stay consistent, your brain will eventually adapt. If you keep pushing through discomfort, your brain will stop resisting and start working for you. Now, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell me what part of this video hit you the hardest. Have you ever caught your brain tricking you into delaying actions? Or if you have a personal story about overcoming mental resistance, please share it in the comments below. And here's an idea. I want to compile the best stories from you guys and read them in the future episodes. So if you have a powerful moment where you outsmarted your own mind and pushed through something difficult, let me know in the comments and I'll feature the best ones. Also, if you have a topic you want me to cover next, drop that below too. I'll see you guys in the next one.